time for some inverse trigonometric derivatives. So you can see the list is here. We're just going to go right through that list. And yes, a good idea to memorize those. If we do end up back in class, I'm going to go ahead and quiz you guys on that. So derivative of arc sine of x over 3, and then they want f prime of 1. So we got quite a bit going on with this. So derivative of arc sine is 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. By the way, arc sine and sine with the negative 1 both mean the same thing as sine inverse. So let's go ahead, let me rewrite this so we can see the outer function. So we basically have arc sine or sine inverse x over 3, and that's our f of x. So when we go for f prime of x, whoop, missed something there. Messing everything up now. Might as well restart the video. There we go. My OCD was kicking in. So if we do f prime of x, we're going to start with the derivative of the outside. So derivative of the outside, what's the derivative of arc sine? Is going to be 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. But in this case, our inner function is not just x, it's x over 3, right? So you have to be careful of the chain rule. So there's the rule, just double checking, did it right. So chain rule, we need to take the derivative of x over 3. Now some people get confused by that, but the derivative of x over 3 is the same thing as the derivative of 1/3 x. Honestly, I just need to make some more room here. It's going to be like that on me today. There we go. All right. Now I have more room. Derivative of x over 3 is the same thing as the derivative of 1/3 x. 1/3 x is the same thing as x over 3. So that's just going to be 1/3. So 1 goes on top, 3 goes on the bottom. So our derivative is just going to be 1 over 3 square root of 1 minus x squared over 9. And they want f prime of 1. So that just means I'm going to do it all over again. More writing. And we're just going to substitute in a 1 for the x. And simplify it. And 1 squared is 1 over 9. Let's give it a little more space. One minus 1 over 9 is 8 over 9. Square root them individually. Get 1 over 3, square root of 8 over 3. Still need more space. So remember, this is 3 over 1, so these 3's are just going to cancel out. So what we're left with is 1 over the square root of 8. Now you don't have to rationalize it. That is probably fine right there. But remember, square root of 4 is 2. And remember, 8 is 4 times 2. So that could be written as 1 over 2 square root of 2. Could be. But I think either answer is fine, especially because it's free response. You might even be able to just leave it like this in the free response. This is just showing a little extra on the simplifying, just in case you run into multiple choice and maybe they're a little more picky about the form that you have it in. Let's go through one more. So arc cosine arctangent's the easiest one, so I didn't put that. And you can see this is multiple choice, so it's going to be a little more picky about the form that it's going to end up at. So arc cosine's the exact same formula. So it's really not hard to remember these formulas. It's the same formula just with a negative. And actually, I'm going to see if there's a different example for me to do. Arc sine, arctangent. Arctangent's pretty easy. So let's just go ahead and, you know what? Since it is the same formula for arc cosine, that's almost the exact same problem. Why do I do the arctangent problem? Just because that way you see it. So arctangent So we're going to do the derivative of this, so y prime, or dy dx, if we want to call it that way, is going to be 1 over 1 plus x squared. But in this case, we're going to use negative 4x. Times the derivative of the inside is negative 4. So let's go ahead and simplify this a bit. So technically that's over 1, right? So then we're going to have negative 4 on the top over 1 plus 16x squared. So that's our dy dx. So to evaluate this at x equals 3, that means that the derivative at x equals 3 is going to be negative 4 over 1 plus 16 times 3 squared, which is negative 4 over 16 times 9 is 90 plus 54. 90 plus 54 is 144, right? Yep. So we get 155 on the bottom, or 155, 145, because 1 plus that. And there's your answer. So you could see arctangent a lot easier than dealing with arc sine. Still not too bad of a derivative. Just main thing happened here. Going through that rule and multiplying by the derivative of the inside. And things just kind of get a little bit, picky on the details there. But like I said, with free response, you could probably just enter any of these and it'll count it correct. It's the multiple choice that gets a little picky about it. But you can see even with the multiple choice, these aren't having you plug in a number. So you would just stop at this step right here. And that would be your answer. And I'll leave these as a solution. I'll detail these solutions out right now.